All right, so now we're going to work on the door. So we mask the door with masking tape all around. And I'm going to paint the frame of the door, not frame, the door itself, all around here. Then I'll remove the masking tape and paint inside. So I have here Naples yellow and cerulean blue. I'm going to put enough in here so I don't have to do it twice. Don't mix colors. I think I have more blue in here, but it doesn't matter. Both colors are nice. Yeah, more blue. Once this layer is done, it's easier to paint over it. When it's done, I mean with the masking tape. Great. I'm going to take a tiny bit of raw umber and darken the upper part of the door a bit because it's under the awning and it has some shadow from the awning. That's raw umber. This is good. This is the part that takes time. The rest is easy. Easier. Easier. I shouldn't say easy. It's easier. Okay. I'm gonna keep some room for up here. There. For the dark. Same, because it has to follow. Now I'm gonna continue. Okay. So now we're just painting the door, and eventually what we're going to do is put some lights and darks and lines where the light is hitting, and where we have shadows on this door, and it will transform the look of this door. It'll look much nicer and much more kind of 3D. Right now it looks flat. Okay. I'm going to pause a bit and then we'll continue. Okay, so now what we're going to do, when I paused, I put with a pencil crayon a bit of dark on the side where I'm going to see dark. So I use pencil crayon. I have a couple of different pencil crayons. The one I use is watercolor pencil crayon. So when I put paint over it, it just it looks good. It looks fine with paint. And with this one here, it's white pencil crayon. So I have here the color of the door, and I have white. So I'm going to take color of the door, put some white in there. And I'm going to highlight this part. It's a round, I have a round brush with me. Again, to do this part. So the light is coming from the left, coming that way. And now I have raw umber here, and we can use more blue instead of raw umber. So if I take the color of the wall door and I put more blue in it, let me see if it works. It might work sometimes. This blue is too soft. Let's see. No, it's too soft. Okay, I'm gonna put some raw umber in it to darken it. We can put orange in it too to make it darker because it's opposite color on the color wheel, the complementary color. It works very well. But raw umber, I find sometimes works well. Let's do a little bit more. Okay, same up here. Maybe a tiny bit darker because it's already in a shadow area. And I'm going to do the same with the door here because the door is not, this is where the actual frame is. So you'll see a bit of dark color, shadow, I should say, on the door itself. The color, the paint I'm using right now is not really heavy. It's more like a dry brush. So it's not very heavy. It looks much better if it's not a heavy. It either can be a dry brush or a glaze. Oh. Okay, I think we're good. We could, after we do this, it's okay, you know, that's fine. Eventually we'll put a handle on the door, but we should work on this area too, right here. Okay, so I've decided to add a bit of the foliage shadow on the door and the frame. So for the door, I used the same color of the door, adding more of the raw umber, and made the paint kind of transparent. So it's like a glaze. It's not heavy. And the same thing with the door, with the frame, sorry, with the frame. I used raw umber and white, and I put water in it. So it's like kind of a glaze. And it doesn't have to be too dark. It's going to dry darker. So it's just kind of a soft shadow of whatever the foliage that we're going to put there. Eventually, this is going to be the same here. So we don't have to put it right now, but eventually it's the same idea. And it makes sense once we put the flowers. Right now it looks a bit funny. It might look funny because there's nothing there. This is when you know where exactly the green is going to be, kind of. And honestly, if it doesn't work, it's okay. We just it's only paint. Just paint over it. Actually, I like it. It will look good. It adds life, movement. And what I'll do eventually, when I have everything done, the leaves, highlighted with the flowers and everything, I'll go back and I'll enhance a bit the highlights in between of the door. Just a kind of a little bit here and there. Just put a bit of a stronger, lighter color in certain areas. Makes it look much more interesting. All right.
Leo,
Yeah.
I got a little behind. The black line that you drew on the left-hand side and under, of the door.
Mm-hmm. Right here. Mm-hmm.
What color is that?
Oh, okay. So it's the color of the door, the main color of the door, and I put raw umber in it. Just raw umber. Add raw umber to the color you're using. You're using what color are you using? It's a turquoise blue, kind of.
It's a mix. Yeah.
Turquoisey blue. So when you put raw umber in it, does it look okay?
It looks quite brown.
Maybe orange.
Little orange?
Mix it with orange.
Okay.
I'm going to pause so we could talk about that. Okay, so we added a bit of shadows, that's in glazing with white and raw umber of the leaves that we're going to be putting over the door eventually. Some shadows over here as well. And we're going to move on now to finish this part. So I am going to use raw umber and ultramarine violet. This is raw umber, ultramarine violet. And a bit of white, because I have the white here. We don't need this to be too dark. First layer, kind of mid-tone, not too dark. Brownish, purplish color. It's going to dry darker than what you're seeing here. A bit of water in there. Yeah, it's a good color. We're going to highlight this color eventually. I am going to simplify this. The step, this part is dark enough so I can just highlight it. Same color, but more white. Just take a bit more white in here. And honestly, it doesn't have to be the same color everywhere. It doesn't have to be even. We're going to be adding on top of this, putting some pink from the tree, so it will look really nice. So I'm not worried. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this part. Again, a little bit of more white. I'll change my brush to a smaller one. I'm using a flat or a bright. And I'm going to make sure that behind the cat, right here, there's a bit of shadow. So I'm going to keep this darker. Maybe I'll darken it a little bit more after. So I'm trying to put a tiny bit of white, I'm adding a little bit of white slowly. Not much, just especially here, more than here, on that step next to the door. The nice thing about this, the beautiful part about this reference is the pink on the floor from the tree. So that's why I'm not spending too much time here on this part. Now, same with the step or the riser. Is it called riser? Yeah, okay. I'm going to highlight it a little bit, not much, just to give it some movement. And to soften it a bit. Perfect. Good. All right, that's all we need to do for now. Okay, so I'm working on this part where I'm going to be putting a design of ironwork. I'm finishing the glass first, so I don't want to highlight it, or I don't want to put it, I make it lighter. I like the dark, and I have burnt umber there. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking cerulean blue, I'm putting water in it, it's right there. It's a glaze, and I'm glazing the upper part of the window. Why the upper part only? It's just because light usually, sometimes you see the more light on the upper part. It doesn't have to be, you could glaze the whole thing. It's not a big deal. But it doesn't have to be even also. So a hint of a glass in there is perfect. We put the design on top after, and it will look, and it's enough. We don't need to work on it more than that. So I'm going to wait for it to dry, and then I'll put the design over, and then I'll just draw the design and then color. All right, I'm putting the design on. So what I first did is I divided this rectangle into half, just to know where the center of the door is, and the center of the panel as well. Then I divided this kind of visually, again, in thirds, or 1, 2, 3, yeah, kind of. Not equal, center is bigger. And then I divided the center here. I put a mark where the center of this line. Then I'm drawing half a circle, kind of. Then from here, I'm going to put another small circle right there. Then I'm going to take a line, go all the way, turn, swirl here, like this. And do the same on this side. And again, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. Now I have these two. I can leave it at that, or I might, I'm going to add another one here. So I'm going to add another swirl. It will connect, goes down here and connects with this one. Again, right here, turn. Actually, this one should be a little bit bigger. And turns and connects here. I think I have a little bit of a design inside here in the original one. That's it. Now, to paint it, I'm going to use the same color as the door. So this way we don't add too many colors, and I don't want to use black or gray. I'm just going to use the same color I used for the door. I have the color right here. I'm using a round brush, a good fine round brush. Put a bit of water in your paint, because you don't want the paint to be too thick. And with this brush, I'm just going to go over the white pencil crayon. There's too much water in here, too much paint. Now to clean up a bit, because I have a tiny bit of a blob of color in here. I'm just going to mix actually cerulean blue and raw umber. Tiny bit, so I get a really dark bluish color. I'm going to fix this a bit. This part is stubborn. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to fuss over this because this, we're going to have some leaves hanging, so I'll camouflage it. Okay, that's good enough. Right, I can say now that we finished the door, so we can start working on the flowers around the door and on the greens and the rest of the cat, bird. So this is done. Not the whole painting is done, just the door is done. And it looks good. I like it. That's fine. It looks okay, and it looks actually great. And it's going to look fantastic with the flowers.